Hello. I hope you've tuned in because you want some content that might help you sleep. I'm going to tell you a bedtime story. This is not a book on public domain, so I am not going to read the entire story. But if you're looking for a video that might help you fall asleep, this is a good one, since it is a bedtime story. Also, yeah, if you are wanting to fall asleep, if you haven't had your shower yet, go take your shower. If you want some tea that'll help you sleep, make yourself some hot chamomile tea. It really does help sometimes. This story might be a little bit annotated, but it's only going to be no more than 7 or 8 minutes, if that. It might just be even less. It just depends on how long it takes me to get through it. And then I'm going to ask you to comment what you think happened to Jemima Puddle-Duck, because I'm not going to read the ending. Not in this video, at least. So I'll get started. This is the story of Jemima Puddle-Duck, who was annoyed because the farmer's wife would not let her hatch her own eggs. Indeed, no one believed that Jemima had the patience to sit on her eggs and keep them warm, so she decided to make a nest far away from the farm. Oh, by the way, I'm Livia. Olive, Olivia. I'll go by a few names. And I'm glad you're here. And Jemima Puddle-Duck, she set off one fine afternoon along the cart road that leads over the hill. When she reached the top, she saw a wood in the distance. She thought that it looked a safe, quiet spot. She ran downhill a few yards, and then she jumped off into the air, and Jemima flew over the treetops until she saw a clearing in the woods. Also, it said that Beatrix Potter did these illustrations, which means, and she did them based on farm animals that she knew that were at her farm. Therefore, this story is based on a true story. Jemima landed and waddled about in search of a dry nesting place. A tree stump amongst some tall foxgloves caught her eye. But seated upon the stump, she was startled to find a well-dressed gentleman reading a newspaper. He had a long bushy tail which he was sitting upon. "Madam, have you lost your way?" he said. Jemima thought he was very polite and handsome. Oh no, Jemima explained. "I'm trying to find a convenient dry nesting place so that I may sit on my eggs." "Indeed," said the bushy long-tailed gentleman. "I have a sack full of feathers in my woodshed. You may sit there as long as you like." And he led Jemima to a dismal-looking house amongst the foxgloves. Behind the house was a tumble-down shed. The shed was very comfortable with such a vast quantity of feathers. Jemima made a nest without any trouble at all, and then she went home for the night. The gentleman promised to take care of her nest until she came back. Jemima Puddle-Duck came every afternoon, and she laid 9 eggs in the nest. The foxy gentleman admired them immensely. He would turn them over and count them when Jemima was not there. Yeah. He would turn them over and count them when Jemima was not there. And then one day the gentleman said to Jemima, "We shall have a dinner party. May I ask you to bring some herbs from the garden to make and savory omelet, sage and thyme and mint into onions and some parsley. Jemima Puddle-Duck was a simpleton. Not even the mention of sage and onions made her suspicious. She went round the farm garden, nibbling off snippets of all different sorts of herbs that are used for stuffing roast duck. She waddled into the kitchen to fetch some onions, and on the way out she met Kep, the collie dog. "What are you doing with those onions?" Kep asked. Jemima told Kep the whole story. He listened carefully and asked Jemima for the exact position of the shed, and then Kep went into the village to look for 2 foxhound puppies who were out on a walk with the butcher. What do you think happened to Jemima Puddle-Duck? That's all I'm going to read right now. I hope you fall asleep nicely and gently and have sweet dreams. And I hope to see you next time. Get the comment. Tell me what you think. Yeah. Tell me what happened to Jemima Puddle-Duck.